right now. We welcome you to New York. We welcome you to Get Up, presented by Wendy's, and we have assembled an extraordinary collection of acumen and analysis.
And Jay Will.
For your viewing pleasure. We got 2 Greenbergs for the price of none up here. We are ready to go. These two
I just don't pay attention to anything it says.
We're 4 seconds in, and we're going to have to separate Jay and RJ.
Yeah.
Here we go. Lakers last night. They welcomed back Anthony Davis. And did they ever, as they play the Sixers, Davis back and literally better than ever. Right out of the chute, look at AD inside.
AD's a monster inside. We got to start talking about him as an MVP-type player. The Lakers outscored the 76ers by 30 with him on the court.
Look at the handles. They had been down by 13 in this game, but he showed off, RJ, the entire repertoire.
He did, and I don't know what Jay Will is talking about, how he's saying that we now need to talk about him because, look, he destroyed a depleted Philadelphia 76er team.
Stand by. He did it with everything in the arsenal. How about the long-range game, Seth Greenberg?
Look, if you're going to start a team, who are you going to pick in front of him? That's my question.
A lot.
We'll talk about that later.
We're going to talk about that.
Taking off and flying through the air. He had 26 in the first half, finished with 37. Lakers, again, had been down 13, then they took off. How about LeBron James showing the range?
I mean, 36 feet, that seems like it's just over half court. Vintage LeBron.
Lakers up 19. This is what he's adding. And then, oh, by the way, at the age of 35, he can still do this. RJ, off the steal, we have elevation.
And just, you see how he's able to close in on that steal, and Tobias Harris wanted none of that. Thank you, Tobias, for just giving the crowd what they wanted. Don't low up or block. Just watch it and be in the poster. Congratulations.
LeBron, 22, 14 assists. Again, AD had the big night, and the Lakers win by 13. And you made a comment in our meeting this morning, Richard Jefferson, about if Anthony Davis plays like that, what you see happening.
Oh, I think the Lakers are going to win a championship if Anthony Davis plays like that. Like, I know that they were playing against a depleted Philadelphia 76ers team, and 76ers don't play well on the road, so we're not really talking about that. But those numbers, the way he played, how dominant he was, he carried them in the third quarter. Pretty much went on the run offensively and defensively by himself. That's the one question. I'm tired of talking about Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is just who he is and what he's doing right now. He's not going to be any more, any less. But Anthony Davis can raise his level to that consistently. 37 points, 32 points on a given night, that impactful, it's impressive.
Well, I'm sorry, RJ, that you're tired of talking about Kyle Kuzma, but you need more than just Anthony Davis and LeBron James to win the championship when you're going against a loaded Clippers team who has positions 1 through 8. They can also have scoring punches. And you're going to need a third-tier player. Who is your third-tier player when you guys were with the Cavs?
If you're talking about 37 and 15 against the Clippers in a dominant fashion the way he did, if he can do that.
You're not doing that against, I mean, you're doing that against Al Horford.
But it's what you're saying he can't, people want to talk about him being one of the top 3 players in this league, and he can't do that against the Clippers?
Well, that's what I do want to talk about, because, Seth, you brought that up in our meeting. If I said to you right now, if you were to name the 3 best players in the world, would 2 of them be on the Lakers?
No doubt about it. Anthony Davis is one of the top 3 players. If you're starting a franchise right now, you're telling me you have 1 of 3 picks. Anthony Davis is going to be one of those guys. He can dominate every single game. Now, here's the question. Is it in his personality? When he played at Kentucky, he won a national championship. He took the 4th most shots on their team. But in terms of his game and his ability to elevate others, he blocks shots. He can defend anyone on the perimeter. He can switch ball screens. He can run the floor. He can shoot the 3. He can beat you off the bounce.
He can do it all.
What can't he do? You know what I just mentioned?
Win.
All the things I just said, those are the same traits this guy Giannis has.
Correct. But let's further illustrate the point you made, which is maybe it's not his personality. Well, now he's got the guy who knows how to win with him. He doesn't have to be the guy who leads everybody. You won a championship playing with LeBron. With LeBron and AD, that is as good a combination, a 1-2 punch, as the league has seen since Shaq and Kobe.
And I agree. It is a dominant 1-2 punch, and Jay Will says you need more than them. But if he's at 27 points a game, right, you need more than just LeBron James and AD. If he's at 33, 34, 35, you can go past not having Kyle Kuzma and a third player. That's why they need him to play like that to win a championship.
Jay, well, let me put it to you this way. We all accept that they played a depleted Sixers team last night. Let's not read too much into it. But this week, they have the Bucks and the Clippers.
Here we go.
So what will we find out about the Lakers by the end of the week?
You're going to find out that you're going to need other players, even if LeBron plays at a high level, right? His usage rate will be high. Even if AD plays at a high level. What are the ancillary pieces that are going to help you win a championship? They had ancillary pieces that stepped up in critical moments that helped them win. You're going to need that when you go against the Bucks and when you go against the Clippers.
I hate it when you use
but here's the deal. And you didn't learn that at Arizona. That's
no, it's fine.
Here's the deal. It's real simple. In those those games, Anthony Davis has to be his very best.
I agree.
When you play the Bucks and when you play the Clippers, that's who he's going to be, because he understands in these games, in this moment in time, this time of the season, who cares? He did it last night. In the playoffs, they got Anthony Davis to be that guy in the playoffs, and he will be that guy in the playoffs because he has the ability and he understands timing is everything.
So we're saying
it's
if
all
Anthony
about the
Davis
players.
plays
Anthony
like that,
Davis,
they win.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
I think generally I'm agreeing with you. Seth is agreeing with you. And in what cannot be described as a surprise, J. Will is disagreeing.
No, I think Anthony Davis is incredible. I still think you need other guys to step up
Just
in those
fulfill their
critical
roles,
moments.
J-Will. Just fulfill their roles.
I understand, but he was saying his initial comment was like, I'm tired of people talking about Kyle Kuzma.
Right.
I'm like, well, Kyle Kuzma is your third best player. You're going to need your third best player to step up when LeBron has days off or when he can't do it or when AD is not there.
To make sure I'm clear on what you're saying that even with LeBron and AD at their best, you still don't believe they have enough to win a championship.
I mean, it takes 5 players. I mean, we're seeing that.
Okay.
Teams can load up. Like, wait a
Lakers.
second. Wait a second. Team can load up against them when they play PNR. Like, that's their primary offense. Like, that's where they destroyed the 76ers last night, if you watch the game. They dominated them off that. So if you got quick rotations, you can stunt that to a
That's
degree.
where Kuzma can make an open shot.
But thank you. You just proved my point.
Yeah, so you just stretch the
Thank
floor.
you. You need Kyle Kuzma. You need other players.
He fits a role. You need a defender. You need a guy who can stretch the floor.
RJ, so pretty much you're saying,
you have
RJ,
to have 5 players on the court. I agree.
Is that you guys didn't need anybody else on your team but Kyrie and LeBron, or you guys would have won a championship?
No, this is what we're saying. Kyle Kuzma, when we're talking about do we need him to be a 17-point-a-game scorer in order, is that what they need from him? That's what they don't need that.
All right, I'm going to send my basketball guys to their respective corners here. We will continue battling this out as we go. But we have huge football stuff to get to this morning, and it starts in Washington. We all know that the Redskins took Dwayne Haskins in the first round last year. So it would seem unlikely that they would take another quarterback this year at the 2 spot in the draft. But listen to what their new head coach, Ron Rivera, told Sarah Spain yesterday on ESPN Radio.
We've done an evaluation on Dwayne. We feel pretty good about who he is. He played, especially at the end of the season, a lot. So we've got good tape to evaluate, and we saw some pretty good growth. But, we have to react what happens in front of us. We don't have the first pick. Cincinnati does. So based on that, we have to decide the direction we want to head from there. So we're going to wait and see. So as far as we're concerned, we're doing our due diligence. We're looking at every player, and then we're going to finish the rest of the evaluations. But, again, we're going to do everything that we need to do so that when it comes time, there are no surprises.
All right, I got 2 Jeffs for you this morning, Saturday in Darlington. I want to start just quickly with the player's perspective. There is no rule that says the coach can't say, oh, yeah, Dwayne Haskins is my quarterback, and I'm excited about it, and we're going forward with him. So what should a player, maybe particularly Haskins, read into the fact that Rivera said basically the opposite of that?
Yeah, you know you're not his guy right now. Like, he's saying that, whether it's Tua or whether it's down the road, you feel like he's trying to move on without you. That's not the vote of confidence you're looking for from Ron Rivera in his first year there.
So, Jeff Darlington, what do we make of that? Tua obviously is an extraordinary, tempting opportunity.
Well, look, I've spent a lot of time around Ron Rivera. He's one of the most honest people in the NFL. What you hear from him is what you're getting. It's not just a cliche. And from conversations I've had off air, basically Rivera does want to see whether Tua is completely healthy, whether he thinks he's a generational player, and he will consider it there. That being said, I'd still feel like this is setting up the next few weeks, next few months leading into the draft to just make sure, as he said it, he's doing his due diligence.
I want to ask you this question, Jeff, Saturday, and I want to preface it because before people lose their minds, I'm in no way comparing Dwayne Haskins to Peyton Manning. But when you were in Indianapolis with Peyton all those years, and then the situation comes up where they're going to draft Andrew Luck, they're drafting the guy who was going to be their quarterback. They could have kept Peyton there. There were some people, including me, who wondered aloud if they should, and they didn't. Spin it to this. If they do decide to draft Tua Tagovailoa, do they need to trade away Dwayne Haskins?
They would need to, because he's going to have no value when Tua takes his job, right? So if you're trying to get something back from the pick that you had the year before, now is the time. You can't expect him to play behind Tua and then anybody else, because he's got such a small sample size of playing as it is. You've devalued your player for the trade.
I disagree with that. I think that you can boost the value by saying Tua is just simply that generational and eventually get something for him down the road. He's still an affordable guy.
I would agree with you had he not already played, but he does have some tape out there from last year, so it already speaks for what he's done. So the same evaluation Ron Rivera gave him, the next coach is going to do it. So without him beating out, because here's the deal. We all know Tua's coming off an injury. So if a guy's coming off an injury and still beats the guy that you picked midway in the first round last year, you're telling him, I got no vote of confidence in this guy. We're moving on either way. That's a bad sell job all the way.
Here's the way I look at this thing, Jeff Darlington. The value, assuming that all the medicals come back, and again, Laura is constantly talking to the doctors there, all signs point to the medicals coming back as positive as they possibly can. Assuming that is the scenario here, the value at the second pick in this draft is Tua. It is not Chase Young, no matter how good a player he is. So it feels to me like Washington has two options. You either draft him if you want him, or you trade that pick. Those two feel like the likeliest scenario.